Hey guys, welcome to Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God. I'm Sarah. I'm married to Mark. We have 8 kids at home. That's my intro if you haven't been here before. But you might hear a little coughing in the background. I have a little boy who's got a cough, who's sleeping in here. And Mark is in the room with me, so he might add something from behind the camera because he's in here. He had gotten the baby to sleep, so now I'm in here too. So I am doing a set of videos right now that are answers to questions people have asked on other videos. Some comments I can't answer with just a quick 1 or 2 sentence answer, and I feel that they need a video. So I'm going to read this question and then I'll answer it, and then I'm going to turn off the camera and make another video because I want to give each one enough time. So this one, and again, if you send me a question through my email or something like that, and you're asking for a video answer, I will not give all details. I will change ages or situations so that you can't be identified. But when you write them on the public comment on YouTube, I'm going to read what you wrote so that I can make sure that I'm answering the question. But because you've already written it, anyone can read this. So I just want people to know that you can write to me privately and I won't share it all. Anyway, need your honest opinion. My children have all chosen that mothers are working outside the home. We have 4 sons. As a grandmother, I feel like moving and homeschooling the grands because I see each of the grands struggling. I am 68. Should I trust the boys because I homeschooled them and keep my mouth shut? So we would need to move and we have a very limited income, or do we put duct tape on our mouth? So as a mom, I understand. So if you haven't been here before, I also have 2 children that have already moved out of the house, and I've got grandkids. So I can relate to this question. But I don't feel like I need to actually put duct tape on my mouth, but there is the idea of keeping silent sometimes. Our kids are going to do things differently than the way they were raised. And sometimes that can be good, and sometimes that can be hard because you see wisdom in what you did. Like, the reason that you did what you did was because you thought it was the best. I don't see any parents out there that are like, I really know this would be worst for my kids, but I'm going to do it anyway. Parents are trying to do what's best for their kids. And each family's going to see things, sorry, I kicked the camera. Each family's going to see things a little differently. You do not have control over your children's life and over your grandchildren's life, but you could help make positive changes if your children are willing to have you help, have you listen, all of those things. My mom lives close. She lives on our property. She is very able to help me if I would like her to. If I asked her, Mom, could the new reader sit down and read to you every day you're home? She would have no problem helping me with that. And I know that she's available if I need that. So that's a way as a grandparent that you could be a blessing in your child's life. Maybe there is something that you could help with that would not be subverting a parent's authority, that would make life easier for them. My mom is in charge of doing supper tonight because she wanted to. And that means I have free time to make these videos because I don't have to think through dinner tonight. So if I were closer, both the kids that have moved out live away. One lives about 2 hours away. One lives like 1,000 miles, 1,200 miles away. So I can't help them out. The one who lives 1,200 miles away has 2 little kids. And if I were around, I would offer to come over once or twice a week so that she could work on a project and I could help watch the grandkids, that type of thing. But I wouldn't say, I think that you need to make more homemade meals, so I'm going to come over so you can do that. I wouldn't tell her what she needed to do. I would be available to help her. Does that make sense? I would not tell her, I'll come watch the kids 1 day a week because it's important that you do a garden if she didn't want a garden. In my case, she wants to do a garden this summer. So if I was available, I would go down and help watch the kids so she could put the garden in, or help her with the garden, or whatever is necessary on that day. But I wouldn't be telling her what things she needs to make a priority in her life. I would be helping her with those priorities. Now, if her priorities were different than mine, I wouldn't be helping. If she was like, yeah, I could use you once a week to come watch the kids so I can go out and get a pedicure and a massage, and so I can go on a, girls' date with my friends. I'd be like, no, I think you should stay home and parent. I wouldn't necessarily say that, but I wouldn't make myself available for her to do things that I felt was going against what she should be doing. But I wouldn't, I would help her in the ways that I could. Does that make sense? Is what I'm saying making sense? I'm asking Mark.
Yeah, you wouldn't tell her she's wrong to do those things. You would just say,
I wouldn't help her to get those things. In the same way, I think it's very important. So if you know me, we don't do grocery shopping with our children. Like we have stuff delivered from Walmart. But I think it's important for kids to know how to be in a store. So if I was going to the store, I wouldn't say, hey, could my friend come babysit the kids so I can go to the store? But there might be a situation where you have a child who can't go into the store. Josiah sometimes has seizures when we go into a store, and it would be different of watching a child because the parent can't take them in as opposed to the parent doesn't want to. So I can't answer your question exactly because my daughter wants to homeschool her kids. If we lived close and she was having logistic problems with homeschooling, I would ask how I could help that would allow her to homeschool, but her doing the majority of the work. If it's, could you come over and help watch the toddler, like play games with the toddler so that I can do school with the older kids? Yes. Could you come over and help be in the house with the older kids, just making sure that they're staying on track, like they're doing the work themselves, just make sure they didn't wander off to the bathroom for hours, while I go out and play with the kids in the yard, like the little kids in the yard. Yes, I'd help with that. I wouldn't say, I think you should homeschool your children, so hand them over to me and I'll do it for you. Because one of the priorities of homeschooling is to make sure your children are taught the things that you want them taught, not the things that you want the other people to teach them. I don't want my mom to be the biggest voice in my children's life. I want her to be a voice in their life. She's here a lot and she does things with them. They go on walks with her and all of that stuff, but I don't want her to be the primary voice, which is also why I don't send them to public school, because I don't want the public school to be their primary voice. The other thing about homeschooling is not that I can keep them away from the public school, but it's that I can create a life with them. And so taking that away from the parents, saying, I think it's best that the kids homeschool, so now I've made a whole culture with my grandkids, is different. So I guess I would say you could help with homeschooling if your children want that, but not to take over homeschooling and life, family culture for that family. I hope that answers the question. If you have more questions about that, you can ask down below. But again, I think as parents, we need to share things that we feel are important. And if you've done that with your kids throughout life, like if you homeschooled your kids, they know the importance of that to you. If you've talked to them about why you do things in your life. If you had a change of heart, that would be something to talk to them about. So like if you always, not this person, but just in general, if there was a mom who always worked outside the home and after her kids moved out, she realized, wow, I really lost a lot of time with my kids. I wish I could stay home. You could share that with your kids, but you can't make them do anything. And if you feel like you're supposed to be the one to change them and they're not changing, it can cause resentment between you. So I would say to talk to God about it, leave it up to God and let him do the work there on your heart and whatever changes he wants to make in the other family. But maybe that's not changes that you're responsible for. Well, it's not changes you're responsible for. God's responsible for them. So again, if there's any more questions or comments about this, leave them down below. And I'll see you guys next time on Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God.